speaking of that, we are going to, during that day, we're going to go over a lot of rules and try to make the kids more comfortable, the juniors more comfortable, or the adults, even during the clinic. I mean, there's a lot of adults that don't know anything about the rules, and it makes them uncomfortable. So we're going to be talking a lot about that and just various things. But speaking of rules, one thing you and I were talking about this week was the putters. Of course, we all know we went away from anchoring the putter in any way. You can't anchor it to a stationary part of your body. You can use the arm lock. That's against your forearm because that part moves with the putter. But we see a lot of guys that they would anchor the putter against their chest with a long putter, or they would kind of do it in their belly button. The long putters that kind of go up in there, and it anchors the butt of the club up against their body, and then they just swing. That is, obviously, it's been made illegal now. You can't do that. Not a ton of success on the regular PGA Tour with that method, but on the senior tour, it's still, Scott McCarron, Bernhard Longer, there's a ton of guys that use that. And the difference now is instead of having it right against their chest, they hold it about an inch away from their chest. And sometimes it gets really hard, and there's been a lot of controversy, a lot of debate on whether they are away from their chest, because from the camera you can't tell. And I know Bernhard Longer, he sent a video into the USGA and to the PGA, and they both approved. It was him basically showing that he moves it away from his chest just a little bit and swings, so it's not anchored. A lot of people don't feel that's good enough because in the heat of the moment and from the camera angles, even if you're standing there looking at him, you really can't tell where his hand, not picking on him. That's anybody that uses that method. What's your thoughts on that style of putting?
I think if it's touching any part of your clothing, because they can say, like, you bend over, like your clothing might pull down a little bit, right? And it touches that clothing. Because that's another thing, and I wasn't big on changing in the first place. I think if somebody's got a bad back and they're in competition, right, I'm not real big on taking that away from them. But whatever it is, that's what the rules are now, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
But if it's a center point, it's all center point. It could be anywhere from here to down. Anything that hits on center, you can't anchor.
Right.
And so if it hits clothing, you don't know as a player, and it's a self-called rule, so you have to call it yourself. You can't be called on it. Right. So that's weird too. I know he turned it in, and he's a cool guy. A lot of those guys are cool guys, so it doesn't really matter. It's just a matter of rule. And so if you touch that clothing, I think that's going to be something they need to talk about. Because I can tell you, if you watch, that's touching clothing a lot of times with several of the players that use that anchor. And it is really, and it's like, can you really decipher between, like, is it like, are they burying that thing in there, or are they touching it? But, like, it just needs to be away. Now, separate that space. Now, I'm not saying you separate it, but if it touches, any part of your knuckle touches, anything touches that clothing, I think it should be, at that time, that should be a rule that should be considered, is all I'm saying. And that gets tricky, but it should be. I mean,
technically, if you had the collar of your shirt, I could almost grab the collar of my shirt. I'm not touching my body, but I'm anchored right there. I can't move. If I pull it, I can't move. I mean, there's little loopholes in that rule that I'm kind of like you. I didn't have a problem with it before. When they made that rule, it's not like there were a lot of victories on either tour with anchored putters. Still, the traditional putting stroke was
been like Webb Simpson and Keegan Bradley for sure. They were big. That was a big change for them.
I know Adam Scott went to it. He's went back since. So, yeah, I don't know. I think you could debate that all day. There's no real right or wrong, no clear answer. But I feel like it's something that needs to be addressed a little bit. If they're going to make that rule, it needs to be a definite rule.
I hated the change in the first place because I think that, and I agree that it is an advantage. I'm not saying that. I think there's an advantage.
Yeah.
But when somebody has a bad back and they're playing, you're taking them kind of out of the game. Like, one of my players has that, and he has to putt with a traditionally lot longer putter than normal, and that's because of his back, because he can't practice putting. So, I'm not real big on taking people out of the game because we don't want that, but it is a high level. We're talking about a different level. But if you look at the two best players on the tour, on the Champions Tour, they're probably 1 and 2, I'd say, in the last whatever. But they're anchoring, and I shouldn't say anchoring. I don't want to say that, but I'm just saying that they use a long putter.
Right.
And it's there's times where they've both been called on it, not called like as far as penalized for it, but players questioning hey, that doesn't look like that's that looks like it's right on your chest, buddy. And but it's a player's call. So you get to make that call yourself. And I don't know, because somebody can say, well, sometimes it probably subconscious because I don't think either one of those guys would do it on purpose. But you might get under pressure and start pushing that thing up, and they don't even know it.
Yeah.
So I just think it shouldn't touch clothing. That's
you said under pressure. I think that's where that benefits the most. We've all had that 6-foot putt that you have to have on the last of a tournament, and your hands are shaking. It's hard to go straight back and straight through because your nerves are going crazy. You anchor that thing against you. Now it's just a swivel. You can't. It takes away that part. So 90% of the time, I don't think it's a big advantage. I think when you get in that super stressful situation, I think it definitely could be an advantage.
Yeah, and they always have the same release. Whenever you anchor, you always have the same release. You don't, when you hold the putter away from you, that pressure can start to, move around from arms to wrist and this and drag and roll and all this stuff. But when you have it anchored, it always releases the same. It's always like, it's close you're going to get to a pendulum because this doesn't move. This just swings like, so you're not rolling. You're not going to see somebody do this and roll. Right. It's just going.
Yep.
And that that's why under pressure for sure.
Yeah.
And if you're used to it, I can't putt with one now because I haven't practiced with one. But if I had enough time and somebody was trained by somebody how to really do it correctly, I could probably find a style that would work. And then it's just like.
Well, I think the key to putting is consistency, doing the same thing every time. If you can figure out how to make it work, if you do it exactly the same, and that makes that a lot easier to do it exactly the same.
For sure.
And then another rule change, and this is no really debate on this, but if leaving the flag stick in when you putt versus taking it out, I know Bryson DeChambeau, obviously everybody knows he's the most analytical person in the world when it comes to figuring out stats. He came up with the theory that you're going to make more putts leaving the flag stick in. I can't stand it. I don't like the flag stick in. I promise you, when I've tried it, it's cost me more putts than made. But just 2 days ago, I played out here, and I had a little chip just off the edge of the green, a little short chip, and it was barely rolling, but it hit the flag dead center and popped, sit right on the edge of the lip. 100%, that would have went in without the flag stick. And I'm just kind of traditional. I don't like looking at a 6-foot putt with a flag stick sticking out of it.
Yeah, my old philosophy on that is old school guys. It's just in my mind the flag should not be in.
Right.
Not from any of that. It's just I hadn't played golf long enough without it, and I don't know what advantage. I'm sure there's probably a mathematical. I think you have to look at a lot of conditions. I think you got to look which way the wind's blowing, what type of flag stick's in there, the quality of it, and things like that, and the angle of the slopes. And there's probably a lot goes into all that, but I like it out because, and I think a lot of it. I tell my players, if you're more comfortable with it, if you're not comfortable over the putt with it in and it's weird to you, I don't think I'd go that direction. But if you're comfortable and it doesn't bother you at all, that to me it more just bothers me. It looks weird.
Me too.
I mean, I don't get it. But that's not my decision. It's a rule now, and I haven't played in this gym, where they started that enough to know like really what it is and what the advantages are or not. I'd like to know a little bit more about it. Yeah. I heard some of the discussions and common sense of some of it.
Now on long putts, if I've got a 50-foot putt, I actually like leaving it in. My eyesight's not great to start with. So on those long putts, it kind of helps me. I've never really liked when someone's tending the flag.
Oh yeah.
It's a dumb thing for me, but I don't know. I would rather them just not be standing beside the hole when I hit that putt. So being able to leave that flag stick in on those long putts, I do like that. But if it's in that 20-foot and in that range where you really tried to give it a run, I don't like seeing the flag stick there.
Yeah, that makes more sense too. Like lag putts, leaving it in because you're just easier to see it, and it's easier to probably pick out your brakes and all that off of it as well. It's almost like its own plumb bob in a way.
And, I know the intention was to speed up play ultimately. I don't think that really works so much because now you have one guy wants it out, and then the next guy wants it in, and then the next guy maybe wants it. So you're back and forth a lot. I don't think it really accomplished a whole lot from that aspect.
In my opinion on that, not at all. If anything, probably made it slower.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Any other rules that? I mean, there was a lot of changes in the last few years. Taking the drop from knee high, it's another one I don't understand. I don't know what that accomplishes. And
yeah, I don't either.
If you're trying to drop it, anybody that's played golf in a long time, of course, you're looking at a spot you want to drop it to where you can get a better lie. From up here, it's really hard to do. It's probably going to bounce and hop into the tall stuff. From down here, I can probably hit it pretty close to where I'm trying to go.
Touch up a little.
And I don't know what the problem with that drop was, being shoulder height. So to me, you're kind of. I don't like anything that could potentially mess up the history books. I think it should be just everybody wants
Used
to
to be
compare
over the back in the day.
Yeah,
You know, drop it.
yeah. Everybody wants to compare Tiger to Jack and generation to generation. Well, anything you do that could potentially change that, I don't really like. I'm not really in favor of that drop. I really just never understood it.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes. That's another thing I definitely would recommend, especially over the last 3 years, probably with all the rules changes. Take some time. I mean, I've always been a big proponent that you can use the rule. If you know the rules, you can use them to your advantage. If you don't know the rules, it's going to cost you 100%.
Cost Dustin Johnson a major event.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
say that.
absolutely. So I think take some time and learn the rules. If you're not sure, if you're in a big tournament and you're not sure, don't slow play down. Don't bring everything to a stop, but try to make sure you know all your options before you just rush into something and then you find out later you could have taken a different route and probably saved a shot or two. So knowing the rules is definitely something that can help you.
And that's self-inflicted. If you don't know the rules, it's your fault.
Yeah, absolutely. One rule I do like that they changed was if you're on the putting green and your putter accidentally touches the ball without the intent to hit it, there's no penalty now. We've seen that happen a lot on the tour.
Yep.
Dustin
I've
Johnson
done it.
to bring him. Oh yeah, everyone's done it.
Amateurs did all the time.
And you get on real fast greens if the wind's blowing, it's almost out of your control. It's going to happen every once in a while. It's nothing you can do. I don't think you should be penalized for that. So that was one change that I definitely agree with. I thought
when you were set up and pass, you got the wind just catches it, and your intent was to putt. You're out.
Yep.
It's penalty.
Yep. So definitely agree with that one. So. I think talk a little, kind of switch gears again a little bit more to what we have going on here. I talked to our superintendent today. We're building the new practice area for his academy, for the Elite Golf Performance Academy, and Matt. He has basically today he's finishing the irrigation and then he's going to put the layer of gravel in. We're going to move the sod tomorrow, so we're going to have that thing sodded tomorrow. Hopefully by spring it'll be ready to go. Doing a lot of work back there, and that's everything on this property has changed. We've added so many new things, and still have a lot of changes to come. But this week, that's our focus, is to get your area set up for your students when they come out. Obviously you've got students that come from all over the place, local from all over the country, probably almost every state you've worked with.
Every state in golf schools.
Yeah. So
in the United States.
So I'll let you kind of talk about your plans with your academy and students coming in and what we're doing here for you.
Yeah. So with Brad, we'll go back to Brad. Brad Hines. That's his last name, correct?
Brad Hines. He's our superintendent here at Champion Circle.
He's done a great job. He's really turned the golf course around this year from when I first saw it. And but anyway, he's been great. He's putting this. It's 5,000 square feet, I believe, on the putting green. It's going to be roughly 5,000 square feet. That's going to be just it's going to be awesome back there because we're going to have a building as well next summer that'll have 2,000 square feet that you can go. You have indoor and outdoor access, so you'll have green grass over there. And then you'll also have indoor if you're in training and if it's really hot. Usually the only time you need indoor around here, right now would be a good day. So we have indoor, outdoor access. Then we'll have a great short game area. It's designed only for the students, the academy. It keeps the public away from that, and which is really good. We're going to set that short game area up as we talked about. We had a place that we called Runyon's Run. It wasn't my place. It was my mentor's, Rob Burnell, and it was at Through the Green in Nashville. It's called Runyon's Run, named after Paul Runyon. And what was cool about that, we had 18 holes, and we had scorecards, and we had tee boxes on all these different shots, and you just played to different holes, and you basically kept score. And the way he designed that program, he had the best. And I say he because it was he designed this whole thing. The juniors that were in the program were phenomenal. We had the best short game players in that area by far and away because they were so competitive. They always wanted the record. They always wanted to get the record, like who can shoot the lowest out here. So they were just competing. It was like a golf. It was like playing golf to them. And so we're gonna create that same environment. We're gonna do the best we can to create that same environment. Give you hopefully different turf conditions as well. We're gonna work on that. That'll be more after everything's already set up and done. So you get different playability surfaces around the greens, just certain areas. So when you travel, if you play up north, if you play wire Bermuda or whatever you're doing, you can kind of get the feel, maybe even possibly down the road. This would be down the road for sure, but getting different sand conditions as well. So we can make it truly like if you're a tour player and you want to come out here and train or just practice and hang out with us or whatever, you can go have all these different playability in the surfaces that you'll be seeing when you travel. And that's a big deal if you're competitive. If you're not, I mean, if you're just local, it's not too big, but a lot of our players, they move around, they travel, juniors or college or tour.
Yeah. And I think what I like about what you're talking about with that short game area, turning it into a little, basically a 9-hole course, is junior, adult, everybody, juniors or adults, a lot of times when they go to the chipping green and putting green, just practice their short game, they're just kind of hitting shots. It almost looks like they're going through the motion. Doing that, every shot counts.
Yeah.
So it's more course-like conditions where every shot you're grinding, trying to get up and down, trying to get it close, instead of just dropping 20 balls and if just going through the motion. So I really like that idea. I'm looking forward to that. I'll be back there a lot.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, makes people competitive too. You don't get bored. It's easy to short game, and it'll have its moments where it's definitely a practice area. So you'll be able to go at it and hit all the shots and still do all your same stuff. And there'll be times where we turn it off and say, hey, we want it to, this part of the day we're going to go and everybody's going to play and run the loop. And you take your whole bag, whatever you want to chip and putt with. It doesn't matter, but you're hitting one shot and then you're hitting another shot. And so it's the way you play golf, and your focus is a lot better, and your intent. And then you see somebody that's phenomenal at short game, then now you know the standard, and so you give the players that are up and coming something to look at and go, wow, okay, versus them just hitting good shots. It's different.
Yep.
So I'm super stoked about that, and
yeah, that's one of the new changes that we're making is working on what he needs to make his academy a complete, full academy, make you a better player. We just changed the layout of the course. If you have not played here, if you haven't played here in the last 4 months, I promise you, if you have played here before that, it's a completely different course than what it was before, not only from a layout standpoint, but from a condition standpoint. The course is in tremendous condition. Brad, as you say, Brad Hines, the superintendent, him and his staff have done a tremendous job. And we're really using that momentum to open the year 2020 with the course in tremendous condition right off the bat. So the whole year should be good. And we're really looking forward to that. Starting to book a lot of tournaments, a lot of events, just a lot of things are really coming together for next year. I'm really excited. Of course, we mentioned last week we're adding big shots to the property. That we're going to start on that anytime now. And then hopefully, I would say optimistically, the end of August, probably September of next year, that'll be open. That's going to be a tremendous addition to the property, to the community, to the entire area. I mean, that's going to be huge. And we just invite you. We really invite you to come out and just look at all the changes, see what we're doing here. We're just going to keep this momentum rolling and snowball and just keep things going. And I think we can really turn this into a complete golf destination for anyone. We've got the Marriott Hotel here we're in right now. We're going to have the golf course. We have a 2-ended driving range that I would put up against anyone's driving range. We're going to have Matt's Academy on site, big shots. The course is in tremendous shape. The new layout, everything's going to be brand new, basically. And we're doing everything we can to make it the most complete, no matter what level, no matter what skill level, or what you're looking to get out of playing golf. If you're a real serious player, or if you just want to come out and play with some buddies, have a few drinks, we're going to have something for every type of player, I think, on site. That's the goal.
Yeah, and the one thing I would tell you if you're watching this that I think is really important, because being my background, I work with a lot of players on the outside. Like, what I mean by that is, like, in the pro shop, they're got people that come in, they're communicating, then they're out and all this. And I get to hear more stories and more really kind of like truths. And what I mean by that is, if you're one of the biggest things that I see as a problem with when you're starting golf, if you're your family and you really want to start and you haven't played and you want to get your children involved and all that as a family, the biggest thing is fear. And what happens is scared. Like, you get scared, you don't know, like, oh, how do I talk to these people? What do I ask or anything like that? You don't really know that many golfers. The thing is, what I would tell you is, don't be scared. Make sure you talk to the golf professional when you call in. Ask to speak to the the head professional. That'd be Jesse. And you can always talk to me as well if I'm in town. But I would suggest talking to Jesse and saying, hey, I'm a new golfer, and we don't know really how to go about doing this. We live in the area, and we want to get started. How do we go about this? That will help you more than anything else you can do. Don't let the fear stop you from starting. It does it all the time. I see it day after day after day. I've done this 26 years. That is the one thing it being, because for me, I wouldn't even know what that felt like. I started at 4 because of my dad. So I never felt fear with that. But that's me. That's because I never dealt with it. If I was starting now and I knew nothing, like if I picked up another sport, I'd be very scared. I understand that fear. We don't want you to feel that. We'll help you get through it, and we'll explain how things work. How, you know, if you hadn't played, it's a possibility we take you out and run you through some of the rules, the etiquette. You got to get through a round and not, make somebody mad on the golf course, or somebody says something to you to intimidate you. Don't let that happen. We can fix a lot of those problems. Those are definitely fixable things. So. But that runs people off, and we don't want to. We want to grow the game. We're not looking to make it where it's just our players. We want to make players feel comfortable here at all levels, and that's. I know Jesse's the same way. I can assure you, I am. And so we can help you. Just don't be afraid to make the phone call, to ask questions. We'll tour the golf course with you if you need to do that. We'll run through the whole program and let you know what we're doing here. And this is the right place to be if you are a new player, I promise you. This golf course fits a new player. It's not too long. It's not too intimidating. There's a lot of good things that on and off the golf course that I believe are happening. So make sure you're not scared to call us.
I mean, a big part of my job is to try to grow the game. And the passion that I have for this game, it's really what I want to do. But so if you'll reach out to me, I promise you, we'll go over the things. I'll make you comfortable. I'll go on the course with you. We'll do whatever we need, and it won't take long. Once you kind of see the basics, how it works, you'll be comfortable. You'll have no issues at all, and you're going to have a great time. Golf, if you've never played, it's a tremendous game. There's a reason most people that play are diehard into it, because it's such a tremendous game, not just from the competitive and the sportsmanship part of it, but the social aspect, the people that you meet. It's just a great group of people to be involved with, to get your kids involved. It's a game of integrity. It's a lot of any other sport, if you commit a foul in basketball, a referee has to call it. If you do something wrong in football, a referee has to call it. In golf, it's a lot of the penalties are self-imposed. So it teaches you to be honest, have that integrity. Just a ton of life lessons can come from golf. And I think anytime you have a chance to get your junior, if they show that interest, I think it's a great move to try to get them involved. And I'll work with you all I can to make sure you're comfortable there, your kids are comfortable, everybody has a great time. So, I think that's very important to say. It's a good point.
One last thing to top off on that too, as well, was I had a student last week that has trained with me for maybe say about 3 years. He's very uncoordinated, like most of us are. He started game very late, and like most of us do, like some of us do. And he was kind of that player where he was just kind of intimidated and didn't really, just felt uncomfortable. And then now he's turned into a lot of different things. He's got his game better. He got more confidence. Now he wants to play more, so he did play more. And he got a job with the city, and now he's getting promoted. He just told me last week after the lesson, he said, I can't tell you how much I thank you for, really getting me and helping. And, he was the one that really had the passion to do it, and it all starts there. But I helped him get a little bit better. And he's got a lot better on his own as well. And then now he's getting promotions through the city. And he's just jumping up because everybody wants to play with him in the tournaments. Yeah. And so it's like the game, and it didn't happen overnight. But now, because of golf, he's getting in the eyes of some of the people who can make bigger decisions and make his life and his family better and his future better. And golf has the ability to do that. And a lot of times, if you're trying to play, you're going to play in a charity event, and you just call in a week before and you had never played golf before, it's very tricky on everybody. It does, I can't say it doesn't work like that. Usually you can sneak stuff around where you kind of maybe do something decent, but golf doesn't work like that. It's like trying to pick up like that guitar and start playing music. All of a sudden it just takes a little bit of time. If you know you're going to be playing with your company or whoever you work for, or if it's your own business and you want to do that and mingle, then just set up a goal, set up a plan, say, hey, give yourself a year to get everything in order, and then get with professionals like ourselves to help you out and help you learn how to do this in a timely manner. Because if you just come in and think, oh, I'll take this over, and you'll beat the game like that, you're going to find out you'll probably end up walking away.
Yep.
It's just too tough, and we can make that journey a lot shorter for you.
Yep. A lot of the mistakes that everyone makes trying to figure it out on their own, we can bypass those for you. We can help you work around those so you don't go through that awkward stage where most people quit because they just don't know. They don't have that information. It's not I hope this is not coming across if you've never played like it's a scary thing to get into. It's not at all. It's just it's just a little thing, just like anything that you have to learn to get there. So we'll help you with that. So come see us. Give us a call, respond to this, whatever you need to do. We'll reach out. We will respond and help you out all we can. So, I think that's probably pretty good time today. We do have a guest lined up for next week, and I know you know him a little better than I do. I'm excited to sit down and talk with him. I'll let you kind of let them know who that's going to be.
Yeah, so the special guest is going to be David Kersley. He lives in Austin, Texas. He's a mechanical engineer. He designs golf clubs for a lot of different companies that you would know about. He just designed a putter, I believe it was last year. I'm not sure on the exact day, but he's won on tour twice this year. I do know that. Don't know the player. We can find all that out once we interview David. But he's just got a wealth of knowledge, not only as an engineer with club fitting and club designs and everything else, but just been around the game. He's a good player, and he just knows a lot of different areas about the game. And we've known each other for probably close to 15 years now. We always stay in touch. Wonderful human being. He does an Ironman every year. He's going to talk about that as well. Some of the self-discipline things you can do from how you start. And the same thing with Ironman. You can't go do an Ironman in one day. No matter how hard you want to go at it, you can't do it. You have to train for it, and you have to prepare, and you have to set goals and plans and all that. Mm-hmm. He's going to turn around and tell you how that could work for your golf game, which I think I can't wait to hear that as well and learn from, and the self-discipline that comes with it. But he's just somebody you're going to want to listen to. I promise you. He's going to bring some things to the table. You're going to go, wow. Oh my gosh! Yep. He's a freak when it comes to design, fitting, and performance of golf clubs and how they should be for each player and all the things he's seen with shafts. This guy he's a wealth of knowledge that if you're a golf nut like I am, and he is, and Robbie is, and you're gonna love it.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that. He's going to be here this weekend, and we're going to put that video out for you guys. So. Looking forward to that. I think that's probably a wrap for today.
Be a wrap.
Guys, we really appreciate you watching. And again, please leave us comments, questions, feedback, agreement, disagreement, anything you can give us. We need that. Anything you want us to talk about, put it in the comments and reach out to us if you know us. Whatever you want to do, we will respond. We will get to those comments and questions. So, again, Elite Golf Performance Podcast, Episode 2. We appreciate you watching. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.